Episode 61, and we are loaded with news. A lot of bad, some good. So let's not dally. Ozzie Mejia is here. We're happy to have him. Tells us all about previews of Towerborne and Wartorn. Before we head over to Review Town, Shotgun Cop Man. We've got reviews for that and Skin Deep before we head over to news. Sales figures for some of your favorite games. Fortnite Mobile returns to iOS soon. Nintendo Switch 1 system update, version 20. And of course, Microsoft raises prices on Xbox and quite a few of their accessories. And of course, their video games. The meat of today's show is in industry news. We have, unfortunately, some layoffs from EA over at Respawn Entertainment, the latest toil at Tesla, and the board of directors' attempt to remove Musk, earnings from Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple. And we do touch on, of course, the layoffs at Giant Bomb and Polygon. It's a rough one, but we thank you for tuning in, and let's kick it off right now. Let's start the show. Here we go.
So we have results from last week's draft, Joe.
Yes.
So I'll start with the third place team. Haas Mamu did determine the winner of our draft, Ozzie. I don't know if you listened last week, but we had a video game character draft based on the Shack Chat from a few years ago, and the hit movie Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. Team number 3, Sony / the JRPG Joeys. I believe that's your team, Joe?
I would think so.
Haas Mamu said, I didn't know most of those characters. Clank would have moved you up. So he was disappointed you left Clank on the board.
Yeah.
I was more disappointed that you just left Ratchet out entirely.
You left out Ratchet?
They're
Really?
two separate characters, right?
Yeah, he had Clank, but no Ratchet, Ozzie. We had a very strange draft pool to pick from. There was no Luigi either, which brings me to number 2. He called it Nintendo Royalty -1. And the comment was that Kirby couldn't save me from a non-Nintendo pick. Look, I stand by the Arthur Morgan pick.
I think for pure comedy, it was a great pick.
Yeah. And then number 1, the Aussie Rooters.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? People that root for Ozzy? What?
Aussie, like AUSSIE.
Oh, I get it.
And trust me, man, you don't want anyone rooting near you in Australia, Ozzy. Sam made a good metric case for Steve. So apparently the case that Sam made about Steve's carrying capacity in Minecraft was enough for Sam to win this made-up game that we created. So congratulations to Sam and the Aussie Rooters. But Nintendo Royalty -1, maybe we can pick up Luigi in free agency. Who knows?
I'm sure you can.
Who's letting Luigi wallow in free agency?
All of us?
Yeah. We all did have the chance to grab him as our mystery pick, and
I was in a situation, Ozzie, where I had Kirby on the board. How am I supposed to not draft Kirby when Kirby's on the board?
But that still makes this the worst year of Luigi ever.
Dude, we need a year of Luigi so badly. In these dark times, we need another year of Luigi.
In more ways than one.
A year of Luigi 2 is a marketing grand slam Nintendo's leaving on the table.
Yeah, Year of Luigi 2. Oh man, they had it. They had it last year with Luigi's Mansion 2. It was there. It was right there. All they had to do is bring back some random Dr. Luigi 2, right?
We've already seen that Nintendo's just willing to give medical licenses to anybody.
Does anyone remember Dr. Luigi?
Yeah, I do.
L-shaped pill pieces. That was it. Innovation. Anyway.
I don't think I want to swallow an L-shaped pill. That feels like I get caught in my trachea or something.
That's a valid concern. But yeah, they do just throw medical licenses around at Nintendo headquarters. But yeah, while we were talking about the draft and sports in general, the Lakers lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Who could have seen that coming?
Charles Barkley could have seen that coming.
You need to play defense. I've heard that's an important thing in basketball in general, Joe. I don't know. I'm not the expert.
You mean letting Rudy Gobert just have his way with the hoop is not the way to go?
Well, it wasn't even. Everyone wants to talk about how Rudy Gobert. it comes down to their inability to rotate on defense, Ozzie. Like they weren't switching well. They were going underneath picks, and like, I don't know. It's just, I'll say it. LeBron James does not deserve to go out like this in LA. You send him back to Cleveland. We're good. We're good at basketball.
Send him back.
One more time. Give us LeBron James. Look, we'll throw in Bronny. We'll take Bronny off your hands too.
Well, the LeBron front running pattern does seem to indicate he'll go back to Cleveland at some point.
Right? It just seems, especially as he gets closer to retirement, like let's get him out of LA. This is really, it's embarrassing to watch. And yeah, that's the Cancun LeBron. The guy who does the 8 step back threes. You can tell JJ Redick was like losing his mind last night too, Ozzie. It's really funny. Watching his press conferences has been really funny. Because he got a lot of crap for I think he played all of the starters 24 minutes in the second half of game, whatever the last game was. And yeah, LeBron's old. He needs, like, I know he's a super athlete, but like, you give that guy 3 minutes on the bench in the fourth quarter, he is materially better that 9 minutes that you get afterwards. But yeah, like, I don't know.
You don't gotta tell me how old LeBron is. I think we're the same age.
Dude, have you watched there was that Netflix show where they followed around a couple of players?
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
I think it's episode 3. They show you what he goes through on like an average off day, not even a game day, Ozzie, but like how he prepares his body in the off day, and he gets a massage or whatever. And in that scene, you see his feet. I don't know how this guy does anything, man. His feet are so busted that, like, and this is true of a lot of super athletes. Like Deion Sanders has had amputations on his toes and stuff. Like,
wow.
These guys go through a lot. And LeBron's feet are just like, if you look at that man's feet, you're just gonna be like, this guy should retire. Like, what are we doing? Why are we forcing this guy to play basketball still?
Plantar fasciitis in basketball is no joke.
Yeah, but it's his toes. They're all sorts of like hammer toe inflammation. And then, like, yeah, this dude has to cryogenically freeze himself every day to recover. Like, maybe it's time to hang it up, LeBron.
Dude, I walk like a mile on the treadmill at the gym, and I feel like crap the next morning. Like, it gets harder as you get older.
Yeah. So, like, kudos to him for the year he had. It was impressive. He played very well. He tried to play through injuries. But, yeah, I've never seen a LeBron team play that bad of defense. And I guess it's just not that surprising when you put a JJ Redick as your head coach. But anyway.
Yeah, who could have seen this coming other than Chuck?
Me? I saw it coming. I remember laughing a lot when Luka got traded for. Look, down the road, if you can build a team around Luka, sure, good trade. But right now, in like this twilight of LeBron's career, horrible trade.
Maybe they can get Giannis in the offseason.
This whole like Giannis has to go anywhere. Why? He already won in Milwaukee. Like, I don't think he needs to do anything. He seems very loyal to the city too. Like,
he could live comfortably in Milwaukee for the rest of his days and be fine.
Yeah, one championship in Milwaukee, man. Like, that's enough.
And I'm not a Bucks fan or anything, but like, I just love seeing a lifer. You know?
Yeah. Like what Kobe did in LA is rare.
Yeah.
These days. So I'm like, I think it would have been cool to see Dwayne Wade do that in Miami, or I don't know, Melo to have stayed in Denver the whole time. Or
I think one Milwaukee championship is worth like 5 Boston championships on the exchange. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but
I know that one Cavs championship is worth 50 Lakers championships. So
yeah, probably.
We should probably get LeBron one more of those. It's not going to surprise. Like, these are a bunch of ifs here, right? So whatever, take this with a grain of salt. If the Cavs make the finals, I guarantee you're going to see LeBron James in attendance at one of their games.
It was not lost on me that the Cavs were almost running up the score on Miami, just as kind of like a fuck you for that whole 2010s Big Three era.
Oh yeah, it was like that series was like the most outsized victory like we've had in the NBA in like a playoff series in like 20 years or something. Yeah. Cleveland did not forget being done dirty. But like the beef with LeBron's, he came back, he won us a title, whatever. But yeah, we still hate Miami.
And who doesn't really?
Yeah. And like,
heat culture. Get the fuck out of here with heat culture.
Like, we're going to get Giannis. It's like, you couldn't keep Jimmy Butler. Now, whatever. Anyway, I was happy to see the Lakers lose. I'll just throw it out there. And come home. Come back to Cleveland. One more time.
One more time.
Let the Cavs win the finals without you, and then come back and try to get the back-to-back. That'd be cool.
Are we going to see Cleveland and Golden State again?
God, I hope not. Anyway, yeah. There you go. There's your cold open. The combo. A combo pack of cold open for you there, Joe. It's Shack Together in America on the internet. If this is your first time joining us, Shack Together is a Shack News video game podcast featuring myself, Asif Khan, CEO, Editor-in-Chief, EIEIO at Shack News. Our producer, Joe Stasio, is here.
Hello.
And Senior Editor at Shack News, Ozzie Mejia, is here.
I'm here in between fun convention trips.
And life stuff. But thank you for making the time, Ozzie. I hope you're finding some time to rest in between all of your assignments. But there's been a lot of fun stuff going on. Video game podcast here. We're going to talk about video games. And most importantly, the first question we ask is, Ozzie, what have you been playing lately?
So this is something fun to talk about because a couple of weeks ago, I helped cover the Star Wars celebration from Japan. And, that convention had a bunch of announcements for fun Star Wars games and Star Wars content coming up. And one of the things they talked about was the DLC coming up for Star Wars Outlaws. And right. I am a big sucker for Hondo Ohnaka as a character. I loved him on Clone Wars. I loved him in Star Wars Rebels. I love him at Disneyland because he's at the Star Wars land. They got the big old animatronic and everything. So when I found out we're getting Hondo Ohnaka DLC, I'm like, all right, I want in on this. And as I was writing the story and I was doing the research, you find out, oh, you got to finish the game first before you can get to it. So I looked over at Star Wars Outlaws and I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm back. So 20 hours later of Star Wars Outlaws. And you know what? I like it. I like the game. It's not a perfect game by any means. If I had to review it, I'd probably end up scoring it lower than Bill. Bill gave it an 8 and that's great. I would probably give it a 7, closer to that. But, I really enjoyed it for what it was. And I love that they got rid of those stupid forced fail states where if you screw up a stealth mission or you screw up a stealth objective, you just have to start it over. And those checkpoints weren't generous. It all sucked. But now you have the option to go loud. Really liked it. And I've come to really love those characters. I think Kay and Nyx are two wonderful characters. I hope we see more of them. I hope we see more of Kay's crew. And the twists at the end were kind of cliched. If you've watched a Star Wars anything, you can probably predict where the story's going. But I still enjoyed it for what it was. I liked it. I'm looking forward to the DLC. And it's not, I know people like to derisively call it Star Wars Assassin's Creed. It's not that at all. As an open world game, I kind of enjoyed it. And I liked how, I like that whole system of trying to get in good with the 4 different crime syndicates. I love that you have to kind of ride that delicate balance of which one you're going to want to get in with and which one you want to piss off and how that kind of influences your game going forward. And I did like that a lot, and I love how it comes into play at the very end. I'm not going to spoil it, but it does matter which syndicates it does mildly matter which syndicates you're on good terms with by the end of the game.
That game's coming to Switch 2 later this year.
It certainly is, and I could have this wrong. I think you can take your save file with you. I'm not entirely sure of that.
That sounds right. I believe that was something they mentioned, which is cool. But yeah. Ubisoft kind of getting their act together. How about that?
Are they what else do they have coming down the line?
No, I'm not talking about what's coming. I'm saying Assassin's Creed was good. They shipped a good Assassin's Creed. I'd say that's a good first step. Now
Assassin's Creed was good. Star Wars Outlaws got good. It did not start good.
The launch of Star Wars Outlaws and the pre-launch, that was not good. But I'm just saying it seems like things are getting
it has become good.
Yeah, it's getting better, I guess I should say. It's not.
We have year 2 of Skull and Bones coming too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Who could forget?
I can't believe they're still doing that.
And there's some season of Riders Republic that's going on right now.
You know what? I will say this for Ubisoft. Even if a game doesn't, they will give a game a fair, at least in most cases, they'll give a game a fair chance. Like there were still, I think we're still getting content for like Roller Champions, and like who's playing We're still getting stuff For Honor. Like
I feel like the Crew 2 was getting updates like last year.
The Crew 2 is still getting updates.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't a successful game, but they are supporting that for like well over a year.
They just did a direct for The Division. Like, The Division 2 is still getting content. Like, I guess
that was a successful game. Like, that has
unfortunately, I need to bring up X Defiant on this.
I was just about to say X Defiant is probably the one exception.
Joe and his crew, they carried that game for months. So much so that I wanted to play with them. I would have even downloaded, but I wasn't allowed.
You weren't allowed to.
Which by the way, if Star Wars Outlaws bucks the trend and doesn't get like year 2 content, I'm going to be sad. Like, I hope there's more coming for that game.
We'll see. I don't want to say anything bad.
I'm not going to get my hopes up. And I know that our resident Star Wars fan, Donovan Erskine, is not a big fan of it either. But, you know, I'm the outlier on this one.
Well, we got other Star Wars games coming, like that XCOM-like and the...
Star Wars Zero Company. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks cool. Like, there's Star Wars stuff coming. I think Disney's doing a good job of, like, spreading out who they're licensing the IP to, and
Yeah, we're about to get, like, a big old Fortnite Star Wars event.
That's right. That's, like, a huge thing that's coming, and it's got Darth Jar Jar in it for some reason.
I'm so excited for Darth. How can you not be excited for Darth Jar Jar?
Like, I want Darth. I told Donovan, I'm like, I'll reimburse you, but we need Darth Jar Jar doing the Sabrina Carpenter emote. Like, I need that video for vertical video purposes. But look, like,
we live in dark times. America needs that right now.
Ozzie, I saw the state of the media this morning, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Joe, you talked about how your kids are just gonna sit there and stare at the character selection screen in Mario Kart World. So it's begun. I've started editing videos and just having Mario dance to whatever. So today it was Here Comes the Hot Stepper. Tomorrow, who knows? But
it goes great with it. It really does.
So expect more videos of Mario dancing to random music from the 80s, 90s, and today.
That's good.
But yeah, so that's like, yeah, we do need silly things to enjoy ourselves with. And, you know, at the end of the day, Ozzie, like, Nyx is a great companion character in that Star Wars game. And, like, the game is visually impressive. So I think there's like there's like a scaffolding there of a good game that they can keep building on. So I agree with you. I hope they do.
They didn't take advantage of Nyx enough, if anything. And I'm saying this having not gone through too many of the side missions, but like whenever I would run into something where I'm like, okay, wait, how am I supposed to go through this door? Like there's a lock gate and everything. And then you look over past like an energy barrier and you see a switch. You're supposed to send Nyx over to push the button. And like that kind of thing is cool. When they use Nyx like for puzzle solving elements, it's awesome.
Yeah. And they have a history of having like animal companion tech like in their game. So I think they're better than most people at that stuff. Because it can come off as cheesy if they do it the wrong way. But I remember like Bill like didn't necessarily, the game didn't floor him, but he also didn't hate it. But like Nyx was like the highlight of that game.
Bill and I are in agreement on Nyx. Like we both love Nyx.
Same with me. I'm so tired of Star Wars. Like I mean the video content. Like I just don't care about the story anymore. But that was an interesting story told in the Star Wars universe, and it didn't have to involve Jedi magic and all that stuff. Like it was just an interesting story about a smuggler, right? Like I'm all for stuff like that. They can do that. I just don't need a movie that explains the Kessel Run to me. I don't need any more movie ever.
I didn't need another story that gets like heavy handed with the Empire, and this one doesn't mostly until the end. With no spoilers, but yeah, it does get a little. It does touch on that whole thing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Cool. Anything else you've been playing?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna cede my time to you and Joe.
Okay. Well, it sounds like Joe's game was super sell my Xbox stuff, and he won.
And yes, I did win. I got that. I don't know. I guess promotion that GameStop was running, and they gave me a veritable fortune for my 5-year-old console.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't say no. And And, and then today we find out, which we'll talk about later, that that's because they had some insider information that meant that they could give me quite a bit of money and then still profit on top of it, thanks to this price hike. But that's okay. No regrets.
They did that typical pawn shop behavior that GameStop is so known for.
Yeah.
But you're out of the Xbox ecosystem entirely?
Yeah, I'll say that, in my PC exploration and shopping, I have significantly offset that purchasing with my trade-ins. So nice. No regrets. I feel pretty good about exiting the console space there.
Were you a Game Pass subscriber, and are you still a Game Pass subscriber?
I am still.
Okay. So you're going to use that on PC.
Yeah, but there's no loyalty there, right? Like I'll cancel it after I play Oblivion or whatever,
Okay.
I don't feel like I need it,
Yeah, I've been off of it for like a year, and it hasn't really affected me at all. But obviously, we get early access to games and stuff, so
I do still use it for games like Avowed, and I did get through the character creator of Avowed, but I have not dove fully in yet. That's on my list.
Yeah, that game kind of came and went, but it was very solid, and it's just another solid Obsidian game. So I'm guessing you didn't in this time where you were selling games and consoles, you didn't play anything?
Well, no, I didn't, and it's because this aftermarket situation with all these components I've been shopping around for. I mean, I'm still waiting on stuff. It's tough to get this gear. Yeah.
Yeah. So man. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. There's a lot of reasons for why that's going on. I'm paying very close attention to these various. There's a lot of businesses talking about the costs of things going up these days.
Right. Right. Well, anyway, so that's me. Not too interesting, but Asif, what have you been playing?
So yeah, I said last week that I would play Blueprints before the next episode, and I did.
Great.
I'm only on day 3. I just completed day 3. I haven't really had a whole lot of time, but I really feel like last night my playthrough showed me it got its hooks in me. This game really has its hooks in me. And I knew it would. Do you guys remember a Windows game called Pipe Dream?
I can't say I do.
No, looking it up.
This is like maybe Windows 3.11 era, or like DOS even. It was an old game where it was like you would place tiles on a screen, and there was like, here's the source of the water, and here's where you want it to go. And it was like kind of this plot, this like, this rectangular plot that you have in Blueprints, but it was like sideways, and it was just throwing you random pipe pieces, and you would have to get the water from one side of the level to the other. And then throughout the game, they would add like obstacles and other stuff. I'm not saying this game is just like Pipe Dream, but this overworld and the way that you have to draft and like build, it reminds me of that. This game is like a puzzle game turducken. It's a puzzle game inside of a puzzle game inside of a puzzle game.
Right.
And I love that. I absolutely love it. I definitely, I can't remember who was talking about this on the podcast, Joe. I think it might have been you, or you're talking about someone else who had experienced the game. But like my first day, I definitely walked right by a puzzle without even noticing.
Oh, sure.
And then like by my third day, I'm like, oh, I know the parlor puzzle game. Except on day 2, I got the parlor puzzle solution wrong because I was being too hasty and too overconfident, right? Which speaks to the replayability of this. It's like, yes, there's the similar puzzle in the parlor every time, but it's different. I don't know how many different instances of that puzzle they have.
I've never seen a dupe ever.
That's interesting to me. That like that there are X amount, I don't know how many, but there's like X amount of these different puzzles just for one room, right? And then you start to multiply that by 46, and you're like, the amount of permutations of solutions to get to a win, it's got to be an insane amount. And then like to throw in this element of luck, I think is really fascinating, right? Because like you're right, Joe, like there is an element of the rolls going your way, right? And like, so I'm going to talk about a couple of rooms that I discovered last night for the first time and why it kind of like opened my eyes a little bit. I got the security room and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I got the utility closet, right?
Sure.
And like, I found the utility closet before I found the security room. So I was like, huh. But obviously I had to come back to it or whatever. But like, each time you play it, you learn something, right? And I know you're supposed to be taking notes or whatever, but like, you're like, okay, I'm going to get a key in this room. I'm going to get coins in this room. I'm going to get gems in this room. This room's a dead end, right? Like, you start to understand, okay, this is how I need to build it. My day 2 was such a fail. I think I maybe only had like 8 rooms.
Yes.
Because like, it was just horrible luck, right? Like,
you're going to have days like that.
And it was like super frustrating because I was like, I had like 40 or like 38 steps left and I couldn't do anything. I was like, so like, there is this element of luck that is like frustrating and makes you want to do better. But like, I'm starting to get this like tapestry of the different rooms and how like, okay, I'm always going to err on the side of moving up before I move sideways. So it's like, if I can move up and then sideways, I can fill out the rooms underneath it. But obviously there's still luck to it. Like, if you get the pantry and it's turning you the wrong way or something, that's the one thing I kind of find frustrating about the game, is that it is only going to give you one like angle for your piece. Like, there's no Tetris rotate the piece. You know what I mean?
Well,
or is there?
There is a way.
But so it's unlocked,
without saying
apparently.
without saying anything in particular, right? Just the game.
I'm going to say you don't start with the ability to rotate that.
No, totally. I was just going to say that the game provides ways to mitigate most everything you're talking about, except the luck of the draw never goes away. And ultimately that's what makes me stuck at this, like, 1 yard line with finishing it. I'm just like, I know that what it's going to take for me to see credits is just quite literally time. I know what I have to do. I know where I know the items I need, right? Like, I've cracked that code, and there's other codes to crack. I'm not saying I have the whole thing figured out, but I know how to get to the, I know how to do what the game is asking me to do. I might not know all the characters or whatever, right? There's more to see, but the luck factor is, it can be oppressive a little bit.
And some of these rooms, and I don't know if these are rooms that are drawn, like, I don't know how this game works. Like, are they randomly drawn, or are some of these rooms more likely to be drawn later in a day?
It is the given.
It is mostly luck, but there are ways you can manipulate certain things, but
But it
is mostly
Ozzie,
luck.
right? Like, you can, I don't know, edify what I'm saying, or maybe you disagree. If you're on, let's say, rank 1 room, what would they call it? B, like just to the left of the entrance, for example. You have a more likelihood to see 6 rooms on that tile.
Yeah,
versus
your pool changes depending on what rank you are. I guess that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And you rank up throughout the day, right? So,
well, let me rephrase though. I'm not saying that like if you left that left tile that immediate left tile from the entryway blank, right? Mm-hmm. And you went all the way north and then you walked all the way back, I'm not saying then that left tile would look any different. What I'm saying is I think that change. Left tile, it definitely will change a little bit, but you are very, very likely to see a particular set on a given rank.
Your pool will expand as you rank up.
That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, so like, I'll just throw it out there. Fuck the weight room.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah,
that one really pissed me off last night because I was like, I was doing well, guys. I had like 27 rooms. I took 57 steps. I hit rank 8, which was good for me. I found like some items. I found 11 new rooms during the run. And like, I had that moment where I went all the way up on the left. I built a dark room and a furnace, that was a dead end. I had never seen the observatory before. That was cool. I was like, oh, what a cool room. But yeah, like it got frustrating because I ran into a dead end and then I had to backtrack, which means I lost a bunch of my steps. And then when I finally got to the weight room, I don't think this is a spoiler. Like what the weight room does. I don't think that's.
The weight room reduces your steps by half.
Yeah, exactly. And I was sitting at like 15, so I go down to 8 or 7, and I'm like, come on.
You didn't get the dining room?
No.
Bummer.
Yeah, you can only draft the weight room when you first drafted the shelter. That's my rule.
Yeah, I didn't do that either. It was, you know what it was? I want to say it wasn't even like I chose the weight room. It was
you'll have a situation where like you'll have three choices, but one of them will require like one or two of them might require gems. And if you don't have gems, you're boned.
That's exactly what happened to me. I had two other rooms that would have been better than the weight room, but they both required gems. And then, yeah, I got the weight room, and that was the
You'll
end
start
of
to
my
get
run.
different reflexes too. Like, I'm surprised at how long it took me to clock this. But let's say I was in that scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
And granted, there are, as you've said, just legitimate dead ends, and there's literally nothing you can do. But there are times when reflexively, let's say I draft the weight room and I enter the room, and then I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even need to be in here. I don't need to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a fool's errand to proceed, right? I should have not entered at all and explored somewhere else.
It's a very good point, and that's something that I learned before day 3. Day 2, I kind of learned that. Like, hey,
right.
Just because you open that door and just because you drafted a room does not mean you have to go into that room. And that eats your step. So yeah, the problem was I was basically at a dead end, Joe. I had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like the weight room was my only chance. And then when I'm building rooms off of the fucking weight room, on the right, I got a terrace, which the terrace is cool. Like that's a cool room, but it's a dead end, right? And then the pantry, and this brings me back to the inability to rotate, at least for me at this moment in time. The pantry, instead of turning into an L and giving me a path upwards, it goes straight into a dead end into the den. I'm like, why? Why would you do this?
Right.
So that was super frustrating to me. And then, of course, there's 4 doors. There's 3 doors in the weight room that you can draw from. The fourth door was fucking locked, and I had no more keys. Because I opened the chest in the den, and that was my last key.
You are in it, Asif. You are in blueprint. You're blueprinting.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys could tell. I fucking love this game. It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm not surprised at all that I love it. And it runs well on my PC. It's not like a resource hog or anything. It's another example of just a novel gameplay loop. It doesn't feel like a chore at any time. Yeah, it's great. And it definitely makes you feel stupid because, like I said, on day 2, I know the parlor game. Like, I know the puzzle for it. I understand the propositional logic, and it still tricked me. Like, that's frustrating, you know?
Yeah.
Because those are gems that maybe that would have helped me with drafting a better room. That wouldn't have led me to a dead end. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many series of if-then statements in this game that I really appreciate the design of it. I think it's masterfully designed, and it's it's got its hooks in me to no surprise at all. It's like, and you'll be happy to know that you are just barely scratching at it there. No, I know. You have so much to look forward to. It's so cool. And like, there was actually like a story moment in the security room. Like, that was like, I didn't expect that. I was like, oh, there's like a story here. And like, this isn't a spoiler, but like in the different bedrooms, you'll see these notes from like people who have stayed at the house to your, what was it, great uncle or whatever?
Yeah, you'll find lore in the house.
Yeah, like the lore is actually interesting, and it informs puzzle design. I do just have a question, like, whose art is this laying around this house? And why are they drawing like random shit like bananas and staircases?
Oh, I like to think the uncle that died is one of those eccentric uncles.
Like, is that him? He was drawing that stuff?
No,
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
No comment. They answered this question.
They answered that question?
This question is maybe indirectly answered, but yeah.
I'm sure. Like, the game is always kind of winking and poking at you, so that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, like, I thought the security room was like a cool moment. I was like, I'm not spoiling anything saying that. I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
There are definitely rooms where I'm like, there's something here that I'm missing right now. You know, like, you're in it, like, I don't know, the spare room.
Yes.
Right? I'm in there. I look at every wall. I look at the paint on the wall. I look at the paint bucket on the ground. And I'm like, there's something in here I'm supposed to be doing. But sometimes I feel like I'm tricking myself into thinking that. So that's, this game gets in your head. And yes, Joe, I'm already experiencing the Tetris effect from this.
Yes. It's
That's
strong.
wild. That
Yep.
I'm only on day 3 in the game, and I'm already thinking about I'm thinking about different days and mistakes I've made, and I'm like, oh man, I now know what I should have done there. So it's what a great game. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm glad it clicked for you. That's great.
Oh, I knew it would. I knew when I read Ozzie's review, I'm like, oh man, we were talking about it like immediately. Ozzie, like, this is a must play game, right?
Absolutely.
And I definitely think it's, I don't know. It's too early for me to talk about game of the year, but like, it's an indie game, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's definitely on my indie game of the year list.
It is at the top of my overall game of the year list right now. And I realize that we've had some really big games, and I realize that it's probably not going to stay there because we still got Mario Kart coming, but like right now it's at the top.
Yeah, we have Bonanza coming too. So yeah. And maybe GTA 6. So like,
oh yeah.
Just throwing it out there that like there's other stuff out there. But yeah, Blueprints, big fan. I did finally cue the shocked crowd. I did play some F-Zero 99 over the last week.
Wow.
I know, shocking. I played the Mirror Ace League Grand Prix, and I will say that I haven't played Silence 2 Mirror yet because I haven't gotten that far. I keep dying on the 4th track of this Grand Prix. Sandstorm 2 Mirror might be the best track I've ever played in this game. Like it's just so cool. Like it's jumps, it's like lava. It still has the winds. The sandstorm is still a part of the game. It's very challenging, but it's like, it's just it reminds, like, what my favorite in the original Ozzie, like the SNES game, was Firefield. Like that, I think that's an iconic level. It's an iconic song. It's great. And if you made it to Firefield, you're about to win the game, right? In the single player world. But yeah, this is like Firefield level of difficulty and design magnificence, but yeah, they take it to a different level. And then they somehow made Mute City for Mirror even crazier than the Ace League Mirror or Mute City 4. So like I always said, like that's the track that if I were like a kid and I could design a level, it would just have boost everywhere. Mm-hmm. They added even more boost to this level. So when you're coming out of that last turn on Mirror Mute City 4, there are now 3 more boost arrows that you can hit. Which, towards the end of a lap, you tend to be low on energy. So it leads to hilarious crashes and stuff at the end of each lap.
Awesome.
So yeah, like it's just, if you like going fast, Ace League Mirror is your jam. I have not made it to Silence 2 Mirror yet, but I'm sure it's crazy. I've seen some videos of it, and like Silence 2 has this, it's a chain of jumps that you can do where you skip ahead. You skip one giant right angle turn if you do it correctly. The Mirror version of this track has something similar. So it's been fun watching. I gotta say, this update, there are more people playing F-Zero 99 this week than I've seen in like, I don't know, a year at least. Like I didn't play a whole lot.
It's getting updates.
Yeah, I didn't play a whole lot last week, but I had my lowest ranking I've ever had. I was like 12,000 overall, which is rare for me. Like I'm usually in the top 5,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, there's a lot of people playing right now. It's just a lot of new names, a lot of low ranked players who it's like people new to the game. I don't know why people are coming back to it, but yeah, like the community is obviously there, but there's like a ton of people who just have Switch Online who are playing this for some reason. And maybe it's the fact that these are brand new, never before seen levels. But yeah, that event over the weekend was fun. With the frequency of Grand Prix being higher. I don't know what they'll do next. But last time 2 weeks ago, I said they weren't going to do any more updates. That day, they announced this one.
They are clearly listening to the show.
Yeah, so whoever's out there listening to this podcast, thank you for this update. Really enjoy it. And yeah, I'm playing that every day again. And then, but yeah, I'm now balancing. Like my gameplay is like last night I was uploading some videos, so I was like, I'm not going to play an online game while I'm using the upload. So I played Blueprints. So like Blueprints is like, that's my PC game right now. And then F-099 is definitely my Switch game. And I haven't really been playing much on mobile. Yeah. Although I have been using the Nintendo Today app very frequently. And I play Bubbletron every day. But yeah, that's all.
Sweet.
But I think you have a game for us coming up, Joe.
Oh, I do. So you can add that to your list. I guess next week you'll add it to your list. But yeah, we'll take a quick break and we will play one more game coming up.
Sweet.
All right. You have arrived at Warframe or Soreblame. In this game, I will read to you the name of a weapon found in the game Warframe, or perhaps it is not found in there. That is for you to tell me as I try and trick you with these very on-brand sounding weapon names. So just to reiterate, I'm going to name a weapon that's either found or not found in the game Warframe, and you will tell me either Warframe or Soreblame, because I couldn't think of a different rhyming word. Do you understand your task?
I think so.
Yeah.
You're going to like alternate questions for each of us. Like we're not going to answer.
That's right. That's the current methodology that seems to avoid internet issues.
Yeah. Okay.
So here we go. Remember, the acceptable responses are Warframe or Soreblame. First
Got it.
Question goes to Asif. Here we go. Tenet Envoy.
Warframe.
Correct. Well done. Ozzie. Calvis Prime.
Soreblame.
Correct.
Was that a frame?
Wait, what?
Are you? There's a such thing in the game Warframe of frames, like the characters that you play as.
Oh, these are just weapons.
I know, but was that last clue? Was that a frame or was that just you messing with us?
No, I've authored these.
Okay.
So it's either a real weapon or
it's
Joe's
made up.
authorship.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Third question goes to Asif. Occucur.
Can you spell that?
Sure. Occucur. Occucur.
Oh man. That Soreblame.
Incorrect. That is a secondary weapon and the most popular secondary weapon in the game. Once again, titled Occucur.
Okay. It sounded like a word you would have made up. This could be hard.
In there lies the secret sauce of this game. Ozzie. Glaive Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Intentious Prime.
Soreblame.
Correct. Ozzie. Kuva Heck.
Soreblame.
Incorrect.
I actually knew that. I don't know how, but I did.
Asif. Roost.
Warframe.
Incorrect. Ozzie. Tigris Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Soma Prime.
Warframe?
Correct. Ozzie. Merst Prime.
Soreblame.
Correct. Asif. Meshuggah.
Metal band. Warframe?
Incorrect. Metal band.
I should have just gone. Yeah. I thought, like they have like a metal vibe, with like Warframe 99 and like,
I do know.
Oh, man.
Ozzie. Galantin Prime.
Soreblame.
Incorrect. Asif. Orobanium Alpha.
Orobanium?
Orobanium Alpha.
Warframe.
Incorrect.
Ah! Of course he made up Orobanium.
Ozzie. Nikana Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Oust Ruffian. I'm sorry. Oust Raffian.
Warframe?
Incorrect. Ozzie.
I'm shook from Orobanium.
Ozzie. Roth.
Warframe.
Incorrect.
That's too normal sounding.
Asif. Lex Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Ozzie. Boltor Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Praedos.
Just Praedos?
Praedos.
Warframe?
Correct.
Yeah.
Ozzie. Impodium.
Soreblame.
Correct.
Yeah. That sounds like a diarrhea supplement.
Asif. Miro Claw.
Also sounds like diarrhea medicine. Miro Claw. Are those 2 words or 1 word?
2 words.
Soreblame.
Correct. Ozzy. Gunsen Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Inodem.
Warframe.
Correct. Ozzy. Havalaxia.
Soreblame.
Correct.
Havalaxia.
Asif.
Have a
Cronin.
Have a laxative.
Asif. Cronin Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Ozzy. Clintix Prime.
Warframe.
Incorrect.
Yeah, Clintix.
Asif. Amprex.
Warframe.
Correct. Ozzy. Dakra Prime.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Velectra.
Warframe.
Incorrect.
Ah!
Ozzy. Araxis Noph.
Soreblame.
Correct.
That's like from Dune or something.
Thank you. Asif. Opticor.
Opticor. That's Warframe.
Correct. Ozzy. Catchmoon.
Soreblame.
Incorrect. Asif. Havocstum.
Havocstum? Can you spell that?
Yeah. I don't know about how to say it.
No.
Havokstem.
Warframe.
Incorrect.
Ah!
Ozzy. Rubico.
Soreblame.
Incorrect. Asif. Tetsu.
Warframe?
Correct. Ozzy. Minabitsu.
Soreblame.
Correct. Asif. Lens.
Can you spell it?
Lenz.
Warframe?
Correct. Ozzy. Dread.
Warframe.
Correct. Asif. Cavalancia.
Soreblame.
Correct. Excuse me. Ozzy. Vacor Heck.
Vacor Heck. Soreblame.
Incorrect.
It's just funny. Like that's just funny. Like, okay. Of course that's in Warframe.
Quick tangent. Warframe had like something like 500 weapons or something.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's what, 11-year-old game? Or older?
So long, the list I was looking at.
Yeah. They've done an amazing job supporting it.
Yeah. Like browser was like having trouble with the web page, like the wiki.
Yeah. I bet.
All right. Asif. Tonkor.
Soreblame.
Incorrect.
Should have. All these cores. I thought you made up one.
Ozzy. Morist Mesh.
Warframe.
Incorrect. Asif. Ravish.
Warframe.
Incorrect. Ozzy, the final question goes to you. Sonicor.
Warframe.
Correct. And with that, your final answer puts you ahead by 1 point, 14 to 13.
Right.
Congratulations, Ozzy. Wow. A tight one. A tight one. Nicely done. Thank you for playing Warframe or Soreblame.
I think that this thought experiment specifically highlights that Joe would be good at naming random things in video games. If you need someone to, like, I don't know, name power-ups for the next Destiny game or something, I think. Joe,
the only thing that I need to do my job is to see like the previous guy's work, and then I can mimic it.
Yeah.
I think.
So, yeah, like you were doing that quite a bit here with like the fake primes or whatever. Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good game. That's a tough loss, Ozzy. Well done.
I'm gonna highlight by one. My favorite fake answer here, which did fool Ozzy. Morst Mesh.
Yeah. Morst Mesh.
I was like, that's just so made up.
Sounds like a kind of oatmeal.
Yeah. Or like, some kind of gruel, like the gruel they eat in the Matrix. That's Morst Mesh.
Morst Mesh, indeed. Well, thank you for playing. This concludes Warframe or Soreblame. We're on to story time. Mike, back to Asif. Take it away.
Well, thanks for that game. That was fun. Good game, Ozzy. But we'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. We're going to start with Storytime Preview, which is trademarked. It's a preview palooza from your friends at Shack Newsa. we have a look at Towerborne. Ozzie, you previewed this game. You also had a chance to talk to the game developer.
I spoke to the game developers, and it's really interesting what they got going, because this is a game that I looked back at, I want to say back in August, and it was interesting that they had it ready for PC but not Xbox, because this is a first-party Xbox game. And, we don't see a lot of those, Asif. We don't see a lot of first-party Xbox games these days. But this is a really cool, like, perpetual content beat-em-up. It's basically their answer to Castle Crashers. And I like what they're doing. They're adding crossplay. They're still adding new content to it. They definitely want to polish it a little more before they get them to 1.0. But for what it is, this is from Stoic. This is the people that did Banner Saga. It looks gorgeous. It looks like you can build your character in different ways. Like, you can build it defensively. You can add different attacks, that sort of thing. I have not yet jumped into the game, but it is now on. If you have Game Pass, it's on Xbox Game Preview right now. So
yeah,
cool.
It just launched. What was it? 2 days
earlier this week?
Yeah. So it's on Game Preview. It is an early access game on Steam as well. But yeah, it's looking really cool. I like the enemies and like the character design that they have in this game. It's all kind of like dark fantasy looking things, but like Truffle Club.
We've played Banner Saga. We know that they're really good at this dark kind of stuff.
But yeah, out in early access. Check it out. Check out Ozzie's interview too. I guess that's technically Interviewza, Joe.
Ah, shoot.
It's okay. It was tagged preview on Shack News.
We're gonna have plenty of previews coming down the pipe, so
for sure.
Don't you worry about Previewza content.
Yeah, we have plenty of previews coming with people going to PAX, and then Summer of Jeff staring us down. There's a lot of events coming between now and the end of summer. We haven't even announced the Summer of Doing Our Jobs yet, so that'll be a huge announcement, especially given the state of our industry. On to the next preview. Wartorn is a squad-based roguelite focused on tactical elemental warfare. Another Ozzie article here, a preview. Ozzie, what do you think of Wartorn?
This looks interesting in the fact that I like the elemental interactions and everything that you can do. You can if you see oil, you can ignite it with fire. If it starts raining, you can use lightning powers to take on your enemies. This definitely has more of a roguelite formula than anything I've seen. It's kind of like the combination of like roguelike and like XCOM style, like tactical play. So this is another one that I haven't had a chance to jump into, but like from what I've seen of it, this looks like something that might interest the more strategy minded folks out there.
But also pyros, because you can just, when in doubt, set stuff on fire in this game, which is always fun.
Cool. I do like that. Like it's XCOM, but it's like random. It's sort of almost Oregon Trail like in the way things go, and you get like random encounters and all that. And like I know, like one of the things I saw like during my previous session was, you can try and run away if things go bad, because the idea is you have a hope meter at the top right, and like the whole thing is like if your hope meter goes down, like your morale's gone and everybody just goes home, and it's like, okay, your run's over. So if you try and get in an encounter and a bunch of people die, like that'll devastate your hope meter too. So you got to be able to pick your battles as you go along.
And this is from Stray Kite Studios, which is a combination of former BioShock lead, or it's Borderlands 2 creative director.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 creative director and the old BioShock lead.
So that's a pedigree right there. And we're seeing a lot of former devs like finding success elsewhere, right? We're seeing former Gearbox people moving on, former Ubisoft people moving on. That Expedition 33 last week was a good example of that. Cool. So yeah, check out Ozzie's previews on the front page. On to Storytime Reviewza, which is also trademarked, and is also a Reviews Palooza by Shack Newsa. Lucas White reviewed Shotgun Cop Man for us, and this game is weird. I think it's the best way to describe it. I found the trailer to be charming when I saw it. It's like minimal in its art style, but like its gameplay looks hilarious.
What a shock. This is a Devolver Digital joint.
Yeah, right. Not a shock at all. But yeah, it's It's Shotgun Cop Man. This is going to be a speedrun game.
Yeah.
Like 9,000% sure that you're gonna see this at a Games Done Quick, probably in the awful or the I don't know, the weird block or whatever they do during summer game. I don't know. They only do awful block during awesome games, right?
Summer games is silly games done quick.
Silly games. That would be, I think, where this would fall. But yeah, it looks cool as hell. It got an 8 out of 10. He says
looks like Super Meat Boy.
Yes. He called it Super Heat Boy in his subtitle for the review. He said the level design was solid. It's weird in a fun way. It's not a very long game. It's pretty short, and it's minimal. Like, one of his cons was there's just not much to it, really. Like, you know, Lucas is a prolific writer, and I think he was having trouble finding words to put to this because he's like, this is it.
Because it's basically like what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. They didn't oversell it or anything. It's just what you see is what you get. The only negative that I think is a bummer, but I understand why. The level editor is PC only. But it's cool that they even have a level editor in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like more retro looking side scroller shoot 'em up kind of gameplay, this is worth checking out. And it's not gonna take much time out of you. Lucas also reviewed Skin Deep for us. This is from Blendo Games, right?
Yep, this is from our friend Brendan Chung at Blendo Games.
Yep, he's been working on this for years. This is a first-person shooter game, but it's, I don't know, is it a shooter or is it more of like a...
It's, I think when I was writing news stories about it, I described it as a stink-em-up.
Yes.
I would call it I would like to call it like a first-person shooter, yeah.
It's a first-person game, but I think there's more to it than just shooting stuff. Like there's
there's obviously a stealth element to it if like the sense of smell plays such a big factor into it.
I think it's like an immersive sim is what I'm gathering.
Yeah. It's I think that's a better way to describe it. It's not like a traditional first-person shooter. It's just this game has been in development for so long and like early access. Just I follow Brendan on social and like seeing his updates about the game. Like I think he was figuring out gameplay probably for 3 years before he decided on this. But yeah, he said this game is weird, scaled down, and relatively simple and fast-paced. And a lot of immersive sims don't have those qualities, Joe.
Right.
But I think that's the difference here, where it's a little more fast-paced and fun.
Sure.
Whenever you rescue a cat in the game, the game says meow in a silly voice, so got bonus points for that. It's got like comic relief, like banana peels and pepper sneezing gags. You can flush heads down toilets while they yell at you.
That's that skibidi toilet that the kids all talk about.
I guess it might be. I don't know. Kids listening to the podcast, send Ozzie an email letting him know if this game reminds you of Skibidi Toilet.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm sure you all use email. The annoying part of immersive games poke through the fun parts. That's the negative. Anytime you have to use a real weapon instead of a gag is a bummer. That's what I was getting at. Is like this game is at its best when it's like the silly stuff, not the like hardcore shooter stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's funny, but it only has like 3 real jokes.
I guess comedy comes in 3s, but I guess they used it more than 3 times.
I don't know. A wise man told me, don't forget, farts will always be funny. So
that's true.
So for me, I approve of these 3 jokes that the game has, and I celebrate it. Lucas gave it a 7 out of 10, and it's out on PC, right?
It's out. Yeah, it's on Steam.
It came out yesterday on PC. So you can try it out there. Cool. Well, congratulations to Brendan on shipping this game. On to Newsa. Oh, boy. This is a news palooza coined by Shaq Newsa. Boy, is there a lot of news. I'm going to hit this as fast as possible because we have what Joe called impressive sales figures. Right? Was that the right amount of flair for the text?
Yes, but also saying it's what Joe called. I mean, that implies that I had like some editorialization of it.
No, you're the one who prepares the rundown.
Yes.
That's all I mean. That's all I mean by that. Not editorializing. Okay, so Oblivion Remastered already has 4 million players.
Mm-hmm.
Water is wet. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 crossed 1 million units sold, and it's like one of the best reviewed games of all time.
Good for them.
Elden Ring has crossed 30 million units sold, and is also considered one of the best games of all time.
Good for them.
And Resident Evil 4 Remake, which will make Joe poop his pants, literally has sold over 10 million units since launch. But there's more. Resident Evil 7 has sold 15 million units. Resident Evil 2 Remake has sold 15 million units. Resident Evil Village has sold 11 million units. Resident Evil 3 Remake has sold 10 million units. Safe to say that Capcom is back, baby. And hopefully
that's really good.
That's just great news.
Yeah.
I would say those were impressive sales figures.
Indeed.
So, I'm going to save this Xbox for last.
Okay.
Fortnite Mobile is returning to the US iOS App Store next week because Tim Sweeney and his inability to give up finally paid off. But
His stubbornness paid off.
I don't know if it was really Tim, though. It's almost like Apple beat Apple here, because the judge in the court case found that Apple and an executive had lied while under oath. Apple claimed that they didn't know how much money they made off of the App Store. Well, that was bullshit. And there was several other email conversations that were used as evidence of them clearly understanding more than they were willing to provide to the court, and planning on how to present misinformation to the court. This is a bad look on the entire C-suite at Apple, the entire board of directors at Apple, and Tim Cook. And it is a win for Epic, but I think it's more of a sign of how shitty Apple is these days. But yeah, congratulations to Epic on like standing on business. Like, everyone wants to, he was fighting for other devs. No, he was fighting for himself. He was fighting for Fortnite money. But the side effect is like Shack News benefits. Any other independent developer out there that's making a mobile game will benefit. And now we're going to have the chance to maybe list an app on the Epic Game Store on mobile. And yeah, like not have to pay a 30% tax, the Apple tax as it's called. 15%, I think it's for the first million, and then 30 above the first $1 million. If you made $1 million on your app, I think you're pretty happy already. But like, what is Apple actually doing to justify that amount of money that they're charging? And I think that was proven to be anti-competitive and all that thing. So yeah, congratulations. And I think we're going to see an Epic Games IPO sooner rather than later, because this was the overhang on that company. You know, when you pick a fight with the largest company on earth with more money than God, you're not likely to win. So I think that's the cool thing here. It just feels weird because you're cheering for one billionaire and $1 billion company against $1 trillion company run by billionaires. But yeah, you know, it's funny. I was talking to someone about Twitter, and it's how it's just not really worth the time. Like, being there is just, it's kind of not a good place to be most of the time.
Right.
This news, like, Tim Sweeney broke this news on Twitter. So like it or not, Twitter is still a place where news breaks, is, I guess, one thing I wanted to point out here. I don't think Tim Sweeney has a blue sky. And then yeah, Nintendo Switch system update version 20.0.0 brought a couple of the things that they showed us during the Switch 2 Direct. So Virtual Game Card is now available for Switch, and Game Share is now up and running on the Switch. So this is set up for being able to do this between the Switch 2 and the Switch 1, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you messed around with this, Joe? Or you don't have multiple Switches in your house, do you?
Just the one, yeah. Okay,
yeah, so you don't need this necessarily. I'm interested to see how this rolls out. But it's good that they're preparing their software before launch for this stuff. But yeah, maybe the last big OS update for the Switch there. And then yeah, what was it, like 4 episodes ago, Joe? I said, man, if you're worried about the Switch 2 price, I got some bad news. Everything is made in China, including Xboxes. So Microsoft announced that they are increasing the price of Xbox consoles, accessories, and games. So they heard that Joe sold his Xbox, and they were really angry about it. They turned around and they raised prices just to spite you. Do you feel spited by this?
I was going to say, no, I feel like I feel, unfortunately, this sounds crass, but I feel completely unaffected by this now that I'm out.
That's fair too. So yeah,
A lot more people are about to be out.
Xbox Series S, the 512 gig edition is what it's going to $380 from $299. So $80 increase there. An $80 increase for the 1 terabyte version of the S. That's now $429.99.
Wow.
The Xbox Series X all digital edition is now $549.99. That's a $100 increase. The Xbox Series X with the, I guess, the one that has the disk drive in it, is now $600. That's up $100. Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Special Edition is now $730. That's up $130. It looks like some of the controllers are staying the same price. The limited edition wireless controller has moved up to $90 from $80. The Elite wireless controller Series 2 Core is up $10, and the full Series 2 is up $20 to $200. The wireless headset, which I don't know why you would use the Xbox wireless headset, that thing sucks, is now $120. That's a $10 increase. Microsoft provided the following statement to IGN. We understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market considerations and the rising cost of development. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it. Games cost $80 now. Some games. But yeah, $80 games are coming to Xbox too, guys.
I think what's interesting about this, and the first thing I thought of was, we talk about this a lot in Slack throughout the week, Asif. We talk about it all the time. And something that you brought up yesterday, and I think you even brought it up during your Game Trader segment, was Xbox was in a good spot because it's like, well, they already have the supply here. They don't have to import anything, so just keep the price the same. And not even a day later, they did the opposite. They raised prices for stuff that's already here.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure, like, why I find this dubious compared to any of the other companies is, like, Sony tells us how many PlayStations they sell every quarter. Nintendo tells us, how many Switches they sold, how many games. Xbox, the largest company of the three, doesn't tell us anything about the profitability or the losses at Xbox. They don't disclose anything. They only disclose the revenue. They don't disclose the expenses. So my theory is that Xbox was already losing money. Like, what is this actually going to do? Like, do you think this is going to increase demand for Xboxes?
How do you increase demand for something that's not there?
You know what I mean? Like, this was already so bad that we didn't even know how many units have been sold, right? There's like this idea that there's like, oh man, we're gonna have to ramp up production in Vietnam. It's like, really? Like, do you not have enough Xboxes already landed in America? Like, was there a shortage? Like, if I go to GameStop right now, I can get an Xbox, right? Like, it's not hard. I could probably buy Joe's. Yeah. I could probably buy Joe's Xbox.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. I think like a lot of people are going to be in Joe's situation where they're not going to be affected by this. And well, why would they be? Especially if you can just get a Game Pass subscription and be able to play Xbox games anywhere.
Yeah. And then, we don't know this for sure yet, but like, I'm guessing that, when Xbox has their developer, their direct or their game, whatever they call it, the summer presentation, they're going to announce some games coming to Switch 2 and PlayStation, right? So it's like this move to being a third-party developer has already kneecapped their hardware division. And now it's like, now this thing that you could have bought 5 years ago for $100 less. Like,
what could Xbox possibly show off in June that's going to make people go, yeah, I'll pay $80 for that? It's not going to be Halo. It's not going to be Gears. Like, they're already working on Gears, and like, that was cool, but not $80 cool.
I don't know. Look, if I can play as Dom again, I might pay $80. Like,
But that was the whole thing from the one we saw last year, right? Is that it's a prequel?
Yeah, so it's the like Emergence Day, I think, is the
Dom Begins or something.
Yeah, but anyway, like I'm a sucker who will buy Gears for that, but I'm probably not going to buy it on my Xbox. I'll probably play it on PC. To your point, but like, who out there that needs an Xbox hasn't bought one? And like, how is this going to help? Like, I don't think it's going to help sales, but now like all eyes go to Sony, right? Because now we're like, okay, Sony's already raised prices in other geographies. Are they going to raise the price of the PlayStation here?
They almost have to.
They have to, because they make it in China. And like, there's actually demand for their products. So I'm guessing there's not a warehouse full of PlayStations in America anywhere. Maybe they have like a decent amount of supply in the channel already. But like, that thing sold over 60 million units. There's demand for it. But like, yeah, you want to talk about how do you create even more problems at the Xbox division? This is how you do that. And like, flash forward to 6 months from now when they're like, we've made the difficult decision to shut down XYZ studio. Like, this will not have done anything for them, is what I think's really weird about the situation. But also, like, this company's quit acting like they care about profits, because like, they don't even disclose the profit and loss of this division, because it's probably already terrible. But like, it's just, I don't like the lack of transparency here from them. And yeah, we got another $80 declaration that games are going to cost $80. But I don't know I think we were talking about this offline, Ozzie, but like, if you grew up in the SNES era, there was a time where games cost $100 for a cartridge, or even more. So yeah, like, this isn't, I'm not surprised. They claim that they did it because of the increase in development costs. Okay. I thought acquiring all these studios would have led to some sort of cost synergies, right?
No, but it's such a messed up situation, because like they had their earnings call yesterday. They didn't mention the word tariff once. But you know what they did do, Asif, and I know you're going to get to it, is there sure was enough room for that $10 billion stock buyback.
Yes.
Wasn't there?
$9.7 billion. That's how much they spent buying back their stock and paying dividends in a quarter, Joe. One fucking quarter. 3 months. $10 billion. Flushed down the drain. Like, but this had to happen? Like, maybe if you don't buy back your shares, it wouldn't have to, like why? I guess
where's the the incestuous podcast announcement of this? Like, they're
yeah.
They're becoming even more like insular and quiet. If this announcement would have been more broadcast, I feel like a couple.
Their podcast put their foot in their mouth last year, Joe. That was a last year thing.
Yeah, when he said Indiana Jones will not come to PlayStation, and then
people like us went ahead and dunked on them for that.
But then they didn't even have the balls to announce it themselves. Remember, Ozzie? It was Jeff. It was Jeff at the opening Jeff Live or whatever at Gamescom. Like, they didn't even have the balls to announce that they were lying. They let Jeff kind of pass that information to us, which, like, I understand Jeff's purpose in the industry, but like, Microsoft hiding behind Jeff there, that's exactly what's wrong with this entire industry right now. And yeah, like, we want transparency, we want honesty, and every time they say we made the difficult decision to shut down a studio, and then the next fucking earnings report, they bought another $9 billion of their stock, I'm going to call bullshit every time. Because if you have so much fucking money that you can just do that, you can fucking stomach X amount of dollars of losses at the Xbox division. You're already doing it, right? So like, that's just, the lack of transparency at Microsoft is really disconcerting. And I know Nintendo got a ton of shit for this, for the cost of Mario Kart World and also the cost of the Switch 2. But like, relative to what we're looking at here, you're getting a brand new Nintendo system for less than this Xbox costs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what game's going to cost $80 for Xbox, but guess what, Joe? It's going to cost $80 on Switch 2, and it's going to cost $80 on PlayStation 5.
That's the other thing. They don't really have any exclusives anymore.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, this platform that barely had any exclusives at all, it now costs more. It's like, okay, I'm definitely out. I have, my Xbox Series X serves a very valid purpose in my home entertainment system. It is a heat shield for my Switch dock, because the PlayStation, the exhaust on the back of the PS5 is very large, and I needed something to block the dock of the Switch from being melted, and that's what my Series X does a good job of these days. Anyway, on to Industruza. I just like, how many times can Microsoft step on their dick in the history of this podcast? It feels like at least once every 2 weeks on average, Microsoft does something really fucking dumb that I have to rant about.
It's pretty
I'm getting
common.
tired. I'm getting tired of it. And it's like the same refrain from me. It's not criticizing the studios. I love some of these studios that Microsoft has acquired. I love id Software. I love Obsidian, right? Like, I love Turn 10, fucking Playground Games. Like, they're really talented people making awesome games. It's the people at the top of the companies, both Xbox and Microsoft, the parent company, that either don't give a shit about games or are like only focused on reoccurring revenues. So that's Game Pass, right? And it's all about just making Game Pass better. But you can talk to any indie dev or a lot of third-party devs, and they'll all tell you that Game Pass has had a negative effect on the industry. So it's like, when you're the deflationary element in this industry and you're like, we have to increase prices, that's what rose my eyebrow more than anything. Because for so long, like, just tell us, like, fine, you have to do this. Tell us the economics of this. Explain why you're doing it. That's all I want.
I will ask you one question, Asif, and in terms of games that people would pay $80 for. If Call of Duty were $100, do people buy it?
Yeah.
I think less people buy it, though.
Yeah.
No doubt. I that wasn't the question, but like, yeah, I think people will buy it. There's like certain people out there, that's like one of 3 games that they'll buy in a year. So
because we've had this argument about GTA 6, will people pay $100 for it? But now it's like, I feel like $100 Call of Duty is around the corner, and it's like, are people still going to buy it?
How else are they going to make back the $70 billion acquisition cost, Ozzie? Like, they're going to have to do something. Yeah, I think people would pay $100 for COD. I think that what would happen is like, and I don't mean to generalize this group of gamers, but there's a group of gamers out there who buy Madden, 2K, and COD every year. So if COD goes to 100 from 60 or 70, they're just not going to buy either 2K or Madden this year.
Can you imagine EA trying to sell Madden for $80?
Yes.
I mean, I can, but like,
I
can. With no improvements.
I can definitely see that happening. I can also, like, I think Madden, it's impossible for this to happen in the near term, but I think Madden should be a live service game that just gets roster updates that you pay for.
It should have been that from the beginning.
Yeah, but when there's like a big generational shift, sure, you can sell it to us, or like, you know, there's a way to monetize it. But yeah, like, I think even fuck Madden costing $100, give it to me for $10 a month. You could make $120 in a year off of that same customer, is my point. But like, if I only want to play Madden for 2 months of the year, I'd pay $20 to do that. But like, as long as these companies are selling units at the prices that they're at, they're not going to do this. So, but yeah, like, I expect we will see Madden for $80, if not this year, next year. And they'll use the same refrain: development costs are higher, blah blah blah. Right? Woe is us. I did see someone ask, like, why are they increasing the price of digital games as much as physical media? And Daniel Ahmed, who honestly is like one of the only good things on Twitter anymore, he broke down, like, he's like, yeah, they're gonna try to offset the cost of the physical media with their digital media sales, and that's what we're seeing with Nintendo, and I think that's what we'll end up seeing with Sony. But yeah, I think the era of $80 and $70 games is upon us. And for someone who grew up in the 90s, as like most of my like intense gaming life was in the 90s, like, yeah, I remember this.
It's going to be a much easier sale for Nintendo and a much easier sale for PlayStation. It's not for Xbox. It really isn't.
No, because like, what is the exclusive? What is the game that's going to be worth that? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 65 million units. Like
Nintendo's going to bring out Mario and Zelda and be like, okay, that's worth spending $80 on. PlayStation's going to bring out something like God of War, Spider-Man, and like, okay, that I can see people spending $80 on. Xbox, I don't know what Xbox has anymore that's worth $80. Maybe Forza. That'd probably be it.
Yeah, I don't, like, if it's motorsport, I'll pass. But like Horizon
6, I think would be worth $80. But
yeah, maybe
I can't see anything else.
Fable?
No, yeah. I mean, I don't have, maybe it's because I don't have the same affinity for Fable that others do, but I don't see it.
Yeah, but I don't know what Fable's going to be, because every time they show us a trailer, it looks like a different game. But, you know, it may be that one.
They delayed Fable another year, so it's probably going to look even more like a totally different. It's going to look like something else in December.
I'm sure we'll get another trailer for it though, Ozzy, and I'm sure it'll look cool. Yeah, like Fable, I don't think Gears has it. I think Gears 5 really, a lot of fans kind of moved on. But hopefully they can get that nostalgia feel. Like an actual good Halo game might be the only answer here, Joe, but like, is it too late for the Halo franchise? Like Infinite's in bad shape.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think it's a really good question. Like, what a weird way to announce that. Like, they're trying to get all the bad news out now, but it's like, no, you're going to still have that sticker shock at the Xbox event in June, probably, whenever we're going to find out what game they're talking about, or we might find out that all of their games are going to cost 80.
It's just the new 60, right? Like,
yeah.
I think the real question has to be, is any of this really relevant when I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I know, like, if I want to play Oblivion Remastered, I'm getting a month of Game Pass. Like, I'm not going to buy the game. And the
Game Pass is going to go up again. I think
they're just going to keep increasing the cost of Game Pass. They're going to,
but then you just turn it off, right? Like, you just unsubscribe. So it's like this. It's like I would be more shook from the headline, like, Sony increases to new standard, and so we know Intergalactic's going to be $80, which it probably will be. But like, that's the only way to play that game. And I don't know. I think it's like 9 out of 10 people are going to be not spending $80 on the next first party Xbox thing, and they're probably going to get Game Pass.
Yeah, but what Ozzy said, at some point, Game Pass is just going to become even more expensive. And it's going to lose its value proposition that it had when it launched, where, hey, we're the Netflix of games. It's like, yeah, except Netflix makes money. You know what I mean? Like, this is, and I said this last year, Joe, but like, putting COD on Game Pass was a huge disservice to the entire model of Game Pass. Because now it's like, most people who have Game Pass are just using it for COD, and that money goes to Microsoft. Right, so it's like, if you're some little indie game, you only get whatever fraction amount of time they've put in your game, that subscriber, that's how the money distributes. Now, in some cases, studios are given like exclusive deals to be on Game Pass, and that's like upfront payments. But like, talking to indies and these like smaller studios, they hate Game Pass. They hate it. And it's been a negative for the industry. It's good for Microsoft and it's good for gamers, but at some point, they're going to make it bad for gamers by charging you too much, because this $80 calculus, Joe, is going to trickle down to Game Pass somehow. That's what I see happening.
Absolutely, right? Like, I'm just trying to say, even when Game Pass costs $35 a month, I still will not be spending the $80. That's all I mean. Like, as long as Game Pass is less than 80 a month, I'm gonna opt to not own a copy of that game. So yeah, we'll see how much this news actually affects anyone. I don't know, because as you know, guys, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Right? My toaster's an Xbox.
It sure is.
Right?
Everything's an Xbox.
So, like, the barriers have been removed.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but yeah.
But anyway, fuck Donald Trump. Storytime Indrusa. Industry News Palooza brought to you by Shaq News. Look, this Microsoft news doesn't happen if the president of the United States understands basic algebra. Like, people need to put those two things together. It's not these evil corporations. Like, maybe $80 price, that is the evil corporations. But these hardware devices made in China being increased in price, any product being increased in price that's made in China, that's all President Trump's fault. And Peter Navarro, that moron who's giving him advice. But yeah, like, there's a lot of misplaced anger right now on the internet. And it's like, no, if you voted for Trump, be mad at yourself. If your family member voted for Trump, be mad at them. But don't point your finger at Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo when they have to do something in response to a global economic crisis. And like, I said it when we were talking about Nintendo, and I'll say it with respects to Xbox here, in support of what they had to do today. Like, this is beyond their control. But I do wonder, like, how many Xboxes they have lying around in America. But on to Industries, which is Industry News Palooza, brought to you by Shaq News. Horrible news across the board, guys. Dealer's choice. Respawn We might have had a Titanfall coming, and now we're not. And they also like canceled two games. I don't know.
Which is weird because they have a bunch of other games in development. Like that Star Wars Game Zero company is co-developed by Respawn. They're still doing Apex, and that third Star Wars Jedi game is still coming at some point. So, like at some point, they need manpower.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on at EA. But yeah, it's just shitty. Those are really talented devs, and that sucks. Dude, last week, I think I called for Elon. I called out the board of directors at Tesla saying, like, do something. It appears that maybe one of them might have done something. But immediately, when Elon saw this, he was furious. And the Twitter account for Tesla tweeted out a refutation. They refuted the report from the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal report said it was a source close to the board of directors that gave them that information to begin with, and that Elon had no idea about it. And based on Elon's reaction, it kind of seems like he had no idea about it, and the board was trying to cover their ass. It's saying something, man, because he handpicked this board of directors. If they're losing faith, I don't know.
And this isn't like some quote-unquote liberal rag that reported this. This is the Wall Street Journal. This is a fairly conservative outlet.
It's News Corp, but I would say that News Corp does not have the best journalistic integrity standards these days, Ozzie. Be it Barron's, Fox News, or Wall Street Journal. I used to really respect the Wall Street Journal. They had two of my favorite tech reporters in the history of the industry used to work over there, Walt Mossberg and Kara Swisher, and then they went on to do Recode. Remember?
I do.
They left when News Corp acquired Wall Street Journal because they saw what was happening like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And good on them for doing what they did. And like the time, they've been great. But I think the journalistic integrity of the Wall Street Journal should be questioned. But that doesn't mean that like this story is not true. They got this from somebody. And Elon's doing that thing where fake news. It's like, I don't know. This all seems very logical to me that you would be looking for a replacement to Elon Musk. The problem is you replace Elon. He's still the largest shareholder. He's probably still somewhere on the board of directors, and he's probably still involved in day-to-day operations. He has tarnished this brand so much that like, I don't know how you fix it at this point, but I do think him not being CEO and not being publicly facing would be a good thing. But yeah, we can move on. They should definitely find a new CEO. Anyone. That gorilla that everybody wants to fight.
100 board members versus one gorilla?
There you go. Man, now that's what I would watch on TV. I would watch that. That'd be a good main event at WrestleMania. Facebook reported just, I would say, disgusting financial results. $42 billion in revenue during the quarter. They beat expectations by $1 billion, and they earned like 20% more than people were expecting. Stock shot up. They just make so much fucking money, and they lost $4.2 billion on Reality Labs during the quarter.
This is what I'm getting. They're happy to eat that loss.
But this is what I'm getting at. Reality Labs is Facebook's Xbox division, except Facebook is transparent and tells us the profit and loss of the division. They don't tell us unit sales of Oculus or anything, but they at least tell us the profit and loss. They say, here's how much we made in revenue. Here's how much we spent to make that revenue. Microsoft can't be bothered to do that with the Xbox division, but at least they do that here. Zuckerberg did provide us some updates on like the AR division. Those Ray-Ban Meta glasses, they saw an increase in sales of 300% from the prior year's quarter. So like a year ago in Q1 to now, it seems like the Ray-Bans are a hit and they're kind of taking off.
Yeah, they've only been around for about a year and a half too. So
yeah,
but the features they've gotten are pretty amazing, honestly.
I feel like they've been around a little bit longer, but this current iteration has only been around for a year and a half, and they made them smaller and less bulky.
It's proof that Google Glass was ahead of its time.
Google Glass was ahead of its time, but what they got right with Meta glasses is forget the screen. Let's just make this a point of view capture device that can capture the real world and use AI to figure out like various things that would help people. So like, hey, what am I looking at? What kind of flower is this? Which way should I go? Like using language to control an AI powered glasses based device, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I think that they're ahead of Apple when it comes to innovating in this space now. They did actually increase their capital expenditure outlook. They said they're going to build more data centers. Half of their conference call, Joe, they just spent talking about AI and AI agents that they're making. So basically, like, they're going to have a small business suite by the end of this year, beginning of next year, where if you're a small business and you don't have customer service, you could spin up an AI chatbot that would serve as your customer service. And it would, like, learn the different parts of your business. You would give it some prompts, and it would, like, understand how to be a customer service rep. So that's like, I see that. Like, I'm like, okay, that's actually value. They're using AI to help curate their feeds across all the platforms. That's terrifying. I don't like that at all. But, you know, it's that's their business, right? Their business is keeping you on the feed. And they said that since they've implemented it in the last few quarters, this quarter they saw a 5% increase in ad engagement and click-throughs from a year ago. So they are seeing benefits to implementing AI when it comes to the feed itself. They announced that Threads has over 350 million users. Okay. Remember Threads, Joe?
Yeah. Is it like, by virtue of my having a Facebook account, do I have a Threads account or no?
I think you do.
No. You have to sign in at least once to be counted in this.
Okay.
And this is also monthly active users. So no.
Oh, in that case, that's actually
they give
really
you
high.
I know they give you a button in on your Instagram account to just jump onto Threads.
Correct. Like, your username is reserved on Threads for you if you have an IG or a Facebook, I believe. But because if you have a Facebook, your IG is held for you too. If you don't click that button and go through the process, Ozzie, you don't technically you're not a user of the app yet. You didn't download it. You're not posting to it. So you're not considered a user. Why this is not that impressive, Joe, is they have over 1 billion users on Facebook or on Instagram. So the conversion rate is still like around 30%. That's not great. And I would just point out that Instagram is not for people who read. I'm just going to say that. It's not really, I don't see a whole lot of book clubs on Instagram, is all I'm saying. So I don't, and the way that they've implemented it is still very much the Instagram algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, which to me, the most important part of short form social media, and Twitter has also forgotten this, was the ability to share links quickly. And they disincentivize hyperlink sharing on all these platforms because those links take you away from their precious app. Right. And they're all after our time on app now. And then speaking of meta apps, they announced an AI app. It's just Meta AI. If you just want to use their Llama model, they have an AI app now that's going to compete with ChatGPT. I will say their development, their philosophy for how they're developing Llama, it's open source, which I think is a good thing. They're being pretty transparent about the costs and the benefits of it. But yeah, they did say that they're going to spend more on data center, largely due to all these things, right? Like all these AI things that they're doing. But for so many AI companies, I'm like, I don't see how you're ever going to make money. When it comes to Facebook, I'm like, there's two ways right there that I just talked about where they're going to make money. That small business solution, but also Meta Ray-Ban, like those glasses are like, I think the first real AI consumer electronics product that's like, I think it's a hit. And like, it's just getting started. Like, imagine where those glasses are going to be 10 years from now. Yeah. Like that's going to be transformative and cool. And it's a form factor that I think will stick around because it's transparent, not occlusive. And they make occlusive VR headsets. So like for them to do this and make it transparent, I think it speaks to like the amount of research they did versus the geniuses who brought us Apple Vision Pro. So yeah, very solid quarter from Facebook. It's like bizarro land because like I say nice things about Facebook now like all the time, and everyone who knows me knows like I fucking hate Facebook, but they're doing better than most of these other tech companies.
I mean, we all hate Facebook, but like, you know, we can't pretend like they're not doing well.
Yeah, you can't stick your head in the sand and be like, oh, they're bad. No, they had $42 billion in ad revenue in the fucking quarter. They're doing just fine. And their ads are like still the most I think the highest conversion out of any ad in the history of the internet.
Which is scary because if you've ever seen a Facebook ad, like those
I'm talking more about Instagram, but yeah, they are horrible.
Instagram ads aren't that much better.
No, they're not at all. But I'm saying like Instagram ads are by far the best like ROI for anyone advertising on the internet these days. Although all of these companies, and they mentioned on their conference call, they're already starting to see weakness from like the Sheins and like the Temus of the world. Like they're not advertising as much.
Can't imagine why.
I know, right? What's the word of the day? Tariffs. But yeah, like it's just another example of glorious leaders, great, wonderful tariffs ruining another industry. A lot of like TikTok shops are going under. A lot of small businesses are about to go under here in the next
Etsy shops, that sort of thing.
Yep. If you can't, I sound like a broken record. Like this idea that we were going to bring all these jobs in manufacturing back to America through tariffs, it sounds good, but if you don't have a plan to scale up manufacturing of anything, how is this going to work? Like we will be seeing empty shelves here in the next few weeks, and maybe then the idiots in America will actually react. But like for someone who has a brain cell, like just one, you can tell like what's coming, and it's shortages of products because ships are being turned away. I saw the Wise camera company. They said they took a delivery of $125,000 of product, Joe. They spent $240,000 on tariffs to accept that. Like just to accept that order. They had to spend more than 100% of the cost of the product. And they're like, we don't even pay our executives that much in a year. So it's like the economics of so many companies are being thrown upside down. But yeah, on to Microsoft. They beat earnings and revenue expectations. We mentioned their buyback, and they're now talking about gaming revenue. It's not just Xbox anymore, Joe. It's Microsoft Gaming.
What does that mean?
They're publishing on PC and on Xbox, xCloud. I think that's it.
But all of that stuff is I thought all of that stuff was Xbox branded though.
And they're starting to talk about themselves as if they are Microsoft Gaming. I think also third-party sales, so like sales of video games on PlayStation or Switch, are now Microsoft Gaming. I think that it's possible the Xbox brand may die, but I've been saying that for a while. On to the next company, because we have two more giant companies, then we can be on our way. Amazon beat revenue and expectations. Yes, there's a trend forming here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is we're talking about Q1 numbers, right? That's January 1st through March 31st. The tariffs were announced on April 2nd. A lot of them went into effect just this week, right? So we're going to, over the last 3 weeks in some cases. So like the effects of these things are going to be felt in this quarter that we are now in, not the one that we're hearing reports about. And so many companies are saying we can't provide guidance because there's so much uncertainty out there that we don't know what to tell you. That's not encouraging at all. So yeah, Amazon sells a lot of Chinese made goods, and they said that they're probably going to be able to come out of this tariff trade war ahead of most. Because once again, the rich get richer in these situations.
Right.
And companies are already pivoting to manufacturing things in Vietnam, manufacturing elsewhere than China. But if that 54% tariff that Trump delayed for 90 days, if that does come into effect, all these companies that are moving production to Vietnam are about to get screwed. So it's like we have like 90 days of a respite before things could get even worse and scarier. But Apple, this last company we're going to talk about, they make almost everything in China. But Tim Cook on the call did say that more than 50% of the iPhones that are being sourced for the United States are already being built in India and Vietnam. So they have largely moved the production of US iPhones from China to India and Vietnam. So it seems like they're dodging it. He did say that they expect to pay $900 million
Yikes.
in tariffs just in the next quarter. So not everything can be made outside of China. But
and that cost, I would imagine, is eventually going to be passed to the consumer.
1 billion% will be. And if you just want to be annoyed about Apple a little bit more, they added $100 billion to their share buyback program. Just for this year, Joe. They're going to buy back $100 billion of stock. Companies should not be able to buy back $100 billion of stock. That should be illegal. Or there should be, you want to talk about taxation? Why don't we tax buybacks?
I assumed they were, I guess.
No, Trump got rid of that. They were for a little bit. There was actually a tax on buybacks. There was a tax on repatriation of cash. And Elizabeth Warren suggested a buyback tax. It never happened. But $100 billion that they can just hand over to their shareholders, and there's no tax. That's messed up. But yeah, in case anyone's wondering, they did beat their results. Apple posted $95.4 billion in revenue in a quarter, Joe.
It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable.
But these numbers are staggeringly stupid, and
they're comical.
I keep like repeating these numbers for people who listen to the show because I'm like, it's overwhelming evidence that capitalism is completely out of control. Like we failed to regulate. There are oligopolies and monopolies and antitrust nightmares everywhere. So like when we do get like this tiny win out of Epic Games, we do need to celebrate. It's just so few and far between. But yeah, Apple actually handling this trade war probably better than most companies because they do have a shit ton of cash, so they can be like first movers. And it seems like Tim was not sitting on his hands waiting for Trump to make a move. He was proactive. So I give Tim Cook may suck as a idea man or as a product guy. Tim Cook is a master of supply chain management, and that's where his skills are going to show in a year like this. But I still wouldn't buy Apple stock with fucking Microsoft money. I would not touch Apple stock here. It is nuclear waste. Like, stay away from these companies that could get kneecapped by tariffs. Because, like I said, it's all fine and dandy right now for Nintendo and right now for Apple because they're moving production over to Vietnam, in the case of Apple to India as well. But, like, if the tariffs go sideways and the trade war escalates again with Vietnam, all bets are off. Like, we could be talking about $3,000 iPhones. Right now, we're not. But if you look at everything Apple's done in the last quarter, they released a cheaper version of the iPhone, iPad, Mac, and, like, I don't think they've done a cheaper version of the watch yet, but that's probably coming. So that's it. Oh, yeah, we got... Just real quick, this is industry news, like games, media, industry news. It would be stupid for us to end this show without talking about what's happening at Polygon and at Giant Bomb this week. It appears that Giant Bomb's podcast and maybe the entire staff is walking out because of these new brand safety guidelines implemented by their parent company, Fandom. We support everyone at Giant Bomb on this decision. We wish them the best of luck. It sucks. It sucks especially because Giant Bomb was born out of a corporate dispute, right? Like, the whole reason it existed was because of a corporate dispute with GameSpot at the time and their parent company.
That's how you know ownership has no idea what they had.
Yeah. Like, they really had no idea who the audience of Giant Bomb was when they told them, you can only say fuck once an episode. It's like, what? Like, who the fuck cares? Like,
I say fuck 5 times before breakfast.
Seriously, man, on this podcast, like, we decided in the first episode, I was like, can we curse? And Joe's like, I don't know, it's your show. I was like, fuck yeah, we can curse. Who gives a fuck? Like, and I get shit on the weather report for cursing too. And I'm like, this is a free video that you came across on the internet, lady. Like,
you should put the fuck counter like South Park did with shit back in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, so what happened at Giant Bomb this week sucks. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see some sort of like a Nextlander born out of this kind of thing. Right. So hopefully that's what we get because, you know, people like that podcast. They want to listen to it. And then what happened at Polygon this week, what was it? Valnet acquired them. That's the parent company that owns like Screen Rant and The Gamer.
Yes.
But the shitty thing that they did, and it kind of goes back to what you just said, Ozzie, like not understanding what you own, they turned around and they fired everyone at Polygon. All their great reporters, everyone who writes guides over there, all their feature writers, all those great investigative journalists, their reviews team, they fired everyone. Hey, like, what are you buying? You're buying the website? Like, okay, that website's not much without the people who make that content.
Which that tells me like they either didn't know what they got, or conspiracy theory here. They just bought it to kill it.
Or they bought it because of the domain authority and they're going to use it to like promote their other network of websites, right?
Their other content mills.
Yeah, like because I don't like to use that term, but yeah, like a lot of they have been implementing AI on their websites and stuff, so like it wouldn't be that surprising to see them do something like that with Polygon. It just sucks because like when Polygon and became part of Vox Media Network, I was instantly worried because I saw a ton of overlap between them and The Verge, like instantly, and I was like, that's going to be a problem down the road for whoever runs this company. And that's what ended up happening. Like there is a ton of overlap between them and The Verge. So yeah, we're now gonna like Polygon.com may continue to exist, but in my opinion, it's gone. And that's a huge loss for the industry. That
sucks.
But I have some good news. I want to end on a little tidbit of good news. Some of our friends who write for us here at Shack News from time to time have announced a new website. So this is our
friends Lucas White, Will Borger, and Brian Barnett.
Yeah. Will's going to be the lead editor. Brian is editor at large, and Lucas, this is a perfect role for him, who will be the reviews editor at Skybox is the name of the outlet. It's skyboxcritics.com. So just wanted to shout out our friends over there creating a new website at a time where the industry is really in peril. But yeah.
Which is, as Will pointed out on Blue Sky, like the timing of this was entirely coincidental.
Yeah, they're not trying to be opportunistic. It's just the way things worked out. But also, like, we like their work. We like working with them. They're still going to be working with us.
They're great people. Like, go support them. Go check them out.
Yeah. So yeah, we want them to go do it for Shack News over there. And yeah, anyone who lost your job today, I'm sorry. It's really unfair what happened. And what's going on at Giant Bomb is just, it's even more baffling because it's like, gee, what's the one thing that people love about Giant Bomb? It's their podcast. Like,
it's their personalities. Like, it's who they are as people.
Yeah, and they had great like
gaming insights and all of that. But that's not mainly why you went there. You went there because they're a fun, lovable crew of people who love to fuck around.
Well, I went there when Ryan was kind of running the show. And I went there because there was funny gameplay videos, Ozzie. Like, they would just do funny streams, right? Like, they would play some crappy train conductor game and break it, Like, that's what early Giant Bomb was to me, was just silly, funny streams and videos. And then Jeff and Brad kind of took over the show with quick plays. I thought the quick play was one of the best things they ever did. And, like, you can go back and it was like Jeff playing a game, Brad talking about it because he's the one reviewing it, or vice versa. The other thing that's completely gone on their website now, Ozzie, is written editorial. They have not written an article in a long time.
Well, the guy that was really specialized in that was Patrick, and Patrick has been gone for like ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Patrick left, Jeff left, Brad left. Like, anyone who was good at writing reviews is gone. And no, if I'm not, maybe there's people on staff that write reviews elsewhere, but I'm saying, like, the editorial direction, the written editorial direction, was a big red flag for me over a year ago. And now here we are. So I'm not surprised to see fandom completely destroying this. It's just sad. And I don't like fandom. I don't like their website. I think they have one of the worst wikis on the internet. I thought Giant Bombs was one of the best wikis. So sucks. I do want to know how much Polygon was acquired for, just by the way. Yeah. For my own edification, if someone could just...
We're still waiting on how much Game Informer was acquired for.
Yeah, that'll be next... We'll probably know that before this, because at least that was a public transaction. I don't know. Watch we find out it was like a Bitcoin transaction or something stupid, Ozzie. An NFT of a
It'd be the most 2025 story so far.
Like, Game Informer acquired for a picture of a CryptoPunk. God. I just wrote a Shanty News headline by accident. Anyway, that's the show. We wish everyone luck, especially our friends over there at Skybox. But this sucks. This is a rough week. Community notes. We have a few questions, comments from the Shack News community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty. You can literally take over the community single-handedly. So if you want to, it's there for the
We welcome new voices.
Not these spam bots.
But yes, although the spam bot, you were mentioning this earlier this week, the spam bots are very polite now.
Oh my God, dude. I felt so bad. This one was like, he was like the sweetest spammer ever, Joe. I was like, I don't want to ban him. It was like the nicest post I've seen in a long, long time. And I was just like, you know what? Let me see if I can find this guy. It was just like, I have to read this post to you, Joe, because I was like, no, I can't ban this guy. It didn't have any links in it either, Ozzie, right? So it's like, they figured this out. Yeah, okay, so here it is. This guy, Faizan Iqbal, it's like they summarized the entire chatty post for the day, Joe. So like,
okay.
So here, I'm just going to read this post to you. Big congrats to Romsteady for making so many final tables. Tough to beat this time, but really inspiring. Also, crazy news about Shadur Sanders joining the Browns. Fingers crossed he can change their luck. And wow, totally agree that Resident Evil 2 Remake raised the bar for action horror games. Speaking of games, when I'm not grinding RE2, I've been enjoying some crazy rides, and here's the spam, Traffic Rider mod APK lately. Perfect for quick breaks. So there's the spam, but there's no hyperlink, right? There's just a little bit of spam, and then he follows it. This is why I didn't ban him. Follows it up with loving the positive energy here! Exclamation point.
Well, if we're known for anything, it's positive energy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't ban him. It was like that, you know, that Wesley Snipes meme where he has the gun and he's crying. That was me with the ban hammer over Faizan Iqbal, and I was like, I can't do it. It's the best post I've seen in months. It is like, but what we're seeing here, Joe, is like this different tactic of spam where they like post like, here's some really nice words, right? Like they say nice things. And then they go into expired threads, right? Like the Last Wishes article and like all these really good guides that we do, and they spam over there. So they think that we're not going to see it.
He's sympathy spammed you.
Yeah. But man, Faizan Iqbal really tugged at my heartstrings with that one.
Yeah.
But onto an actual human being, Hasmaamu Corner. He said, yes, I Googled Root and Joey's slang. Can't wait to see Australian pop-up ads. Yikes. Yeah, my brother figured out the Australian slang for what rootable means. And
is this
Ozzie
the first time you've said he's your brother?
No, I don't think so.
On the show, on the show.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine.
No, not that it's sensitive. I meant like, I wonder if that was like a lore drop just now.
It might be. If you didn't know, Hasmaamu is my brother. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's known. I've talked about him before. Otherwise, I would have way too much information about this guy.
That's true.
Like, and he's awfully supportive. No, he's great. The guy's awesome.
The best.
He's my best friend. But yeah, he's a good guy. You guys should follow him on no platforms because he's that cool. You're not going to find him on Twitter or Instagram.
I follow him on YouTube comments.
That's it. That's the only place where you can follow him is on YouTube comments. And maybe Cortex. He posts, his style of posting to Cortex is non-context YouTube links. So like no text, just a hyperlink. That's his style.
I do not context pictures, so there's that.
Look, shouts or whatever you want to make of them. That's it. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Support independent games media and independent media outlets, and support journalists in general right now. It's a very dark time for trying to tell the truth on the internet, and the people who are trying to do that should not have to be attacked and demonized for it. So yeah, we salute everyone out there who's doing the work and being honest about where the money comes from that funds all the stuff. And in our case, it's coming from me. A lot of people think that there's some giant corporation behind Shack News. Nope. There's not. And yeah, we don't run ads on our site. So we are not as affected by the downturn in online advertising as some of our competitors are. And you're starting to see that play out here. So we'll be back next week. I don't know about the rest of our industry. And yeah, hopefully we'll have more cool games to talk about. More takes on hardware. Did you see that the Switch Pro controller? They had like a close-up video that they posted on the Nintendo?
I missed that.
I missed that too. I didn't see that.
Yeah, they really broke down like here's all the buttons and here's what the back of it looks like and the clickiness. They're doing a lot on the Nintendo Today app. It's become an app that I visit daily.
Tune in next week to see how much farther Asif gets on Blueprints.
That too, and I'm sure I'll find some new room that I hate, but I really hate that.
You'll find them. Trust me.
So like, I'll ask offline. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But
Good
like,
idea.
there's this room on the map that I was like kind of curious about. Anyway, that's it. We can wave bye to the camera and say thank you for listening. I'll never forget.
Thank you. Thanks for joining, Ozzie.
Yeah, thank you, Ozzie, for joining the Shack News Extended Podcast Universe. Thank you, Joe, for that fun Warframe game. I think you've really proven that you can make random names for guns in games. Like,
I'll tell you what, in this scary economic market, I need to diversify my skill set and prepare for a career change. So,
I mean, yeah, I think all of us should probably consider getting into robot repair here in the next few years.
Yeah.
But in the interim, we'll be talking video games with you next week. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. And yeah, we're the fastest growing video game podcast in the known universe, especially now that Fandom just kneecapped one of the best gaming podcasts of all time. So yeah, tune in next week and hopefully tell a friend, that this podcast rules and they should be listening too. It would help us a lot. We appreciate it. That's it. We're done. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at ShackNews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required, but if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.